40 Mini. Have you ever woken up with the feeling that something important happened while you were asleep? But no matter how hard you try, the memory fades away before you can grasp it? Maybe there's a lingering sensation in your chest, a trace of a name, or even a flicker of light behind your eyes, yet it all vanishes. What if I told you that forgetting your dreams isn't just a random occurrence? In fact, it's a sign, a spiritual block that could be preventing you from receiving important messages from your soul. According to ancient Buddhist teachings, dreams are not mere illusions or neural activity. They are sacred portals that guide us toward personal transformation and deeper spiritual understanding. However, when we can't remember them, it's often because something within us is resisting the message, whether it's fear, unresolved emotions, or an overactive mind. In this video, we're going to explore the reasons behind why you forget your dreams, the profound lessons they might be trying to teach you, and how you can open the gateway to remembering them again. Stay tuned, it's time to reconnect with your soul's hidden wisdom. 1. Dreams as sacred messages. Buddhist perspective. In Buddhism, dreams are not viewed as mere random activities of the brain during sleep. Instead, they are considered sacred messages, gateways into realms far beyond our waking reality. Buddhist teachings hold that our dreams are not simply the result of neural firings or the brain's way of organizing the day's experiences. They are seen as portals, openings into higher planes of consciousness, karmic memory, and deep spiritual understanding. When we sleep, our physical body rests, but our soul travels, moving beyond the physical realm into subtle, hidden dimensions. Here, the soul encounters lessons, receives wisdom, and even reconnects with past lives or spiritual guides. These dreams are a form of communication, providing insight into aspects of life that we may not yet fully comprehend. They serve as a bridge between the known and the unknown, revealing aspects of the self that are otherwise hidden from our conscious mind. But why, then, do we forget our dreams? If dreams are so profound, why do we often wake up with only fleeting glimpses of them? The Buddhist explanation is rooted in the idea that the mind is not always prepared to receive such high-level guidance. When we experience a deep, transformative dream, our waking consciousness often struggles to comprehend the message. This misalignment between the soul's wisdom and the conscious mind can cause us to forget the dream, even if it was meant to provide essential insights. From a psychological perspective, this speaks to the layers of our subconscious mind, where deeper truths may lie buried. Unresolved emotions, past trauma, or limiting beliefs can create barriers to understanding the messages within our dreams. We may resist the truth that these dreams are trying to convey because they challenge our current beliefs or comfort zones. Real-life example. Let me share a story. A woman named Sarah had been struggling with anxiety and was facing a crossroads in her career. She had been going through therapy, but deep down, she was still unsure of her purpose and felt overwhelmed. One night, she had a vivid dream where she was standing at a crossroads in a vast field, and a wise old woman appeared to her. The woman told her that the path she had been walking was no longer serving her, and she needed to make a bold decision to move forward. When Sarah woke up, the vividness of the dream was gone, leaving only a vague sense of unease. Over the next few weeks, Sarah started to confront her feelings of uncertainty, gradually changing her career path. Looking back, she realized that the dream was a turning point, one that helped her break free from the fears that had been holding her back. This is a perfect example of how dreams can carry messages of transformation, but our conscious mind may not always be prepared to fully receive them. It requires a deep level of self-awareness to be able to tap into this wisdom, and oftentimes, it takes time for us to recognize the significance of these dreams. 2. The resistance within, ego and emotional blocks. While dreams may present themselves as sacred messages, the reason many of us forget them is because of resistance from within. This resistance is not always conscious. Most often, it stems from the subconscious mind. According to Buddhist philosophy, the ego plays a major role in this process. The ego, which is our conscious sense of self, can be a protective mechanism, keeping us in our comfort zone, and preventing us from confronting uncomfortable truths. When we experience a dream that challenges the ego, it can shut down the memory process, causing us to forget the dream almost instantly upon waking. This process of forgetting is not random, it's actually a defensive mechanism. The ego resists any changes that might threaten its control over the mind and the body. This is why many of our most profound dreams, the ones that have the potential to change the way we view ourselves, often vanish upon waking. If the ego senses that the dream might lead to personal transformation or an uncomfortable awakening, it will suppress the memory, ensuring that the dream remains forgotten. In addition to the ego, unresolved emotional blocks also contribute to the forgetting of dreams. Emotional trauma, guilt, shame, grief, and fear can all create a mental fog, making it difficult for the soul's messages to penetrate through the layers of unresolved emotions. These emotional blocks manifest as a type of mental fog, what Buddhists refer to as Maya, the illusion that clouds our perception, both in dreams and in waking life. Real-life example. Consider the story of David, a man in his mid-40s who had spent much of his life suppressing his emotions. Having grown up in an environment where emotions were not openly discussed, David carried unresolved grief from his childhood that he had never fully confronted. As an adult, he started experiencing recurring dreams of a young boy who seemed to represent him during his childhood. The boy would be running through a dark forest, seemingly lost. Despite the vividness of these dreams, David could never remember the details once he woke up. It wasn't until he began therapy and faced his childhood trauma that the dreams started to become clearer. The reoccurring image of the boy was his subconscious mind's way of urging him to revisit the past and heal those deep emotional wounds. Once David was able to acknowledge and address his unresolved grief, the dreams became less frequent, but the messages were no longer blocked. 3. The role of fear. Fear of the unknown and fear of change. Another major reason we forget our dreams is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of change, and fear of what might lie beneath the surface. Dreams are powerful because they often reveal aspects of ourselves that we've been avoiding, areas that need healing, change, or transformation. But when we're not ready to face those revelations, our subconscious mind might prevent us from remembering the dream. This fear can be rooted in several factors. For some, it's the fear of confronting painful truths about their past. For others, it might be the fear of change. Dreams can sometimes call for a major shift in our lives, like leaving an unhealthy relationship, changing careers, or making a difficult but necessary decision. The ego and the subconscious mind may view these changes as threatening, and so, it blocks the dream in an attempt to preserve the status quo. Psychological depth. Fear is a powerful emotion that often overrides the desire for personal growth. Even though change can lead to greater happiness, the fear of the unknown is a primal instinct that keeps us bound to what we know. This is where the ego steps in, reinforcing familiar patterns and protecting us from the perceived dangers of the unfamiliar. In this way, the fear of change can contribute significantly to the forgetting of dreams, especially when those dreams highlight the need for transformation. Real-life example. Emma had been in an emotionally draining relationship for years. Her dreams began to show her images of being free, of walking alone on a path, feeling the wind in her hair, and smiling without a care. However, every time she woke up, the details of the dream would slip away. Eventually, Emma started to notice a pattern. Her dreams always seemed to present her with images of freedom and independence. Yet, every time she woke up, the fear of being alone would cause her to dismiss these dreams. She was terrified of what would happen if she truly embraced the changes that her dreams were trying to show her. It wasn't until she confronted her fears and let go of the relationship that the dreams began to make sense, revealing the path to self-discovery that had been waiting for her all along. 4. Karmic mirrors. Dreams as reflections of past lives and current spiritual journeys. In Buddhism, dreams are often viewed as karmic mirrors, reflections of the soul's journey across lifetimes. These are not random or accidental dreams but rather spiritual echoes that carry imprints from past lives. Some dreams revisit pain from this life, while others are deeply connected to unresolved issues from previous incarnations. When we experience recurring dreams or dreams about unknown places or people, these can be seen as spiritual fragments, reminders of lessons that need to be revisited or patterns that need to be broken. Psychological depth. The idea of karmic cycles is deeply rooted in the notion of unresolved psychological and emotional baggage. From a psychological standpoint, these recurring dreams may point to patterns of behavior or unresolved trauma that need healing. The past is not just something that happened in the distant past, it is something that lives within us, influencing our thoughts, actions, and behaviors. By understanding and confronting these karmic patterns, we can break free from cycles of suffering and spiritual stagnation. Real-life example: Mark had always been drawn to a specific country in Europe, even though he had never visited it. His dreams often took him to this country, where he would wander through ancient streets, feeling a strange sense of familiarity. When Mark finally visited the country, he was overwhelmed with emotion and a sense of belonging. It was only then that he discovered through genealogical research that his ancestors had lived there centuries ago. His dreams were not merely random, they were reflections of his soul's past, guiding him toward a deeper understanding of his spiritual heritage. 5. The language of dreams, symbols and archetypes. Dreams speak in symbols, emotions, and archetypes. In Buddhist teachings, this language is viewed as universal, transcending cultural and personal differences. A dream of a house might symbolize your inner world, while a snake could represent transformation. And a storm might indicate emotional cleansing. The language of dreams is not always straightforward, it's metaphorical, layered with meanings that can vary depending on the dreamer's personal context. Psychological depth. From a psychological perspective, dreams often use universal symbols to convey deeper messages about our unconscious mind. These symbols are not just random but are carefully selected by the subconscious to communicate insights that our conscious mind might not fully understand. By interpreting these symbols, we can unlock hidden parts of ourselves and gain clarity about the issues we are facing. Real-life example: Janet had a recurring dream of being in a house with many rooms, each one more cluttered and chaotic than the last. As she started to examine the dream, she realized that the house represented her mind, filled with unresolved emotions, scattered thoughts, and hidden memories. The more rooms she explored in her dream, the more overwhelmed she felt. Once she began addressing these emotional blocks in her waking life, her dreams started to change, and she felt a sense of calm as she navigated through the rooms. The house had always been a symbol of her inner world, and by confronting the mess within, she was able to clear away the clutter and make space for clarity and healing. 6. The need for presence, attuning to dreams. To truly understand and remember our dreams, we need to be present, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. In Buddhism, the practice of mindfulness is key to awakening our consciousness and tuning into the subtle messages within our dreams. Dreams don't just need interpretation, they need presence. This means engaging with the symbols, emotions, and sensations that arise in our dreams with an open mind and heart. The modern world is filled with distractions, making it difficult to sit in stillness long enough to understand the wisdom embedded in our dreams. With smartphones, emails, and constant noise, the mind becomes cluttered and unfocused, leaving little room for the subtler, deeper messages that dreams can offer. To remember and interpret our dreams, we need to slow down, create space for quiet reflection, and approach our inner world with curiosity. Psychological depth. When we are caught up in the demands of daily life, our minds become fragmented. The constant busyness blocks our ability to tune into the deeper aspects of our subconscious. Being present means slowing down, breathing deeply, and allowing ourselves the mental space to receive the dream's messages. It's a practice that requires patience and consistent effort, but over time, it can lead to greater clarity and self-awareness. Real-life example: Sarah, a corporate professional, used to wake up feeling frustrated that she couldn't remember her dreams. Her days were always full of meetings, deadlines, and distractions. One day, she decided to create a morning routine that involved simply sitting in silence for 10 minutes after waking up. She would breathe deeply and ask herself, "What was my soul trying to show me?" Slowly, Sarah began to recall snippets of her dreams, images of an open sky, a beautiful garden, and a sense of freedom. As she cultivated this practice of presence and silence, her dreams became clearer, guiding her to make changes in her life that she had been avoiding. 7. The role of intention, setting the stage for dream recall. In Buddhist teachings, intention is everything. Just as the mind is a powerful tool for manifesting our desires, it is also a tool for unlocking deeper levels of consciousness through our dreams. By setting the intention to remember our dreams, we signal to the universe, and to our subconscious, that we are ready to receive its messages. This simple yet powerful practice can begin to shift the way we approach our sleep and dreams. Intention works by focusing our energy and attention on what we want to achieve. When we intentionally focus on remembering our dreams, we align our subconscious mind with this goal. As we do this more consistently, our dreams begin to reveal themselves more clearly. However, intention alone isn't enough. We also need to cultivate the inner environment that makes it possible to receive these messages. This requires creating a mindset that is open and receptive to the dream world. Psychological depth. The power of intention is rooted in our ability to focus our thoughts and energies. When we set a clear intention to remember our dreams, we align our conscious desires with the deeper parts of our psyche. This alignment allows us to bypass the mental blocks that may prevent dream recall. Additionally, intention helps create a sense of readiness to face whatever challenges or revelations our dreams might bring. Real-life example. Tom had always been fascinated by dreams but struggled to recall them. One evening, he decided to try something different. Before he went to sleep, he closed his eyes, placed his hand on his heart, and whispered to himself, "Tonight I am ready to remember my dreams." He made a promise to himself that he would write down whatever came to mind upon waking. That night, Tom had a vivid dream where he was standing at the edge of a cliff, overlooking a vast ocean. When he woke up, he was able to recall every detail, from the crashing waves to the cool wind on his face. By setting the intention, he had awakened his subconscious to the possibility of remembering his dreams. 8. Spiritual hygiene, clearing emotional blocks for dream clarity. The concept of spiritual hygiene in Buddhist teachings is vital to the clarity of our dreams. Spiritual hygiene refers to the practice of keeping our inner world clean and free from emotional clutter. This includes forgiving ourselves, letting go of grudges, and releasing negative energy that might be weighing us down. Just as we take care of our physical bodies, we must also take care of our emotional and spiritual health. When we cleanse our inner world, we create space for clarity and insight, both in our dreams and in our waking life. Emotional blocks, such as unresolved anger, resentment, guilt, and shame, create a fog that clouds our ability to perceive the deeper messages within our dreams. These blocks not only affect our mental and emotional well-being but also hinder our spiritual growth. By practicing spiritual hygiene, we can clear away this fog, allowing the soul's messages to come through with greater clarity. Psychological depth. From a psychological perspective, emotional blocks can be likened to mental clutter. Just as physical clutter can create a sense of chaos and overwhelm in our external environment, emotional clutter can cause mental and emotional unrest. By cleaning up this clutter, we create a harmonious space for personal growth and healing. Emotional detoxing through practices like forgiveness and letting go helps us move forward, both in our dreams and in our waking life. Real-life example. Alicia had been struggling with anger toward a family member for years. This unresolved emotion had clouded her thoughts and relationships, and it even started to affect her dreams. She would often dream of being trapped in small, dark rooms, unable to escape. Once Alicia began practicing forgiveness and releasing her anger, her dreams shifted. She began to dream of open fields, clear skies, and peaceful interactions with loved ones. By cleansing her emotional world, Alicia had created the conditions necessary for her dreams to provide clearer, more insightful messages. 9. Using rituals to enhance dream recall. In Buddhist traditions, rituals play a significant role in preparing the mind and spirit for transformation. Rituals can be as simple as setting an intention before bed, meditating, or using tools such as crystals or incense to help clear the energy around you. These rituals create a sacred space, both internally and externally, that aligns your energy with the dream world. By incorporating rituals into your nightly routine, you signal to your subconscious mind that you are preparing for something important, dreams that carry wisdom and guidance. The practice of ritual can also help calm the mind before sleep, reducing stress and anxiety, which are often the primary reasons people struggle with dream recall. When we enter sleep in a calm and relaxed state, our minds are more open to receiving the messages our dreams are trying to convey. Rituals allow us to enter into this state with intention and mindfulness. Psychological depth. Rituals are a powerful way to create mental and emotional space for transformation. They act as symbols that connect us to something greater than ourselves. By performing a ritual, we remind ourselves of our higher purpose, which helps us align our inner world with our goals. In the context of dream recall, rituals help prime the mind for receptivity, making it more likely that we will remember our dreams upon waking. Real-life example: Maria had always had trouble remembering her dreams. She decided to try using an amethyst crystal under her pillow, as recommended in Buddhist teachings. Every night before bed, she would meditate for a few minutes, holding the crystal in her hands and setting the intention to remember her dreams. At first, it felt like a small ritual, but over time, Maria began to notice a difference. Her dreams became more vivid, and she could recall details more clearly. The ritual not only helped her remember her dreams but also created a deeper connection to her spiritual self. 10. Spiritual practices for dream receptivity: meditation, mantras, and breath work. Buddhist teachings emphasize the importance of spiritual practices that help us become more attuned to our inner selves. Meditation, chanting mantras, and breath work are all practices that align our energy, clear our minds, and open us up to the subtle realms where dreams reside. These practices can be powerful tools for increasing dream receptivity and clarity, as they help create the inner stillness necessary to receive the messages within our dreams. Meditation, for example, allows the mind to quiet and still, creating the space for the subconscious to communicate with the conscious mind. By practicing mindfulness meditation before bed, we can reduce mental clutter and create the conditions for clearer, more profound dreams. Mantras, which are sacred sounds or words repeated during meditation, help focus the mind and strengthen the intention to remember dreams. Similarly, breathwork helps calm the nervous system and prepares the body for restful sleep, promoting deeper and more meaningful dreams. Psychological depth. Meditation and mindfulness are powerful tools for training the mind to be more present and attuned to the present moment. These practices help break free from mental distractions and focus on the deeper aspects of our consciousness. By calming the mind and body, we create the optimal environment for receiving the messages from our dreams. Real-life example: John had struggled with anxiety and insomnia for years. He decided to start a daily meditation practice before bed, focusing on his breath and silently repeating a mantra. At first, his mind would wander, and he couldn't remember his dreams. But over time, as he became more consistent with his practice, he noticed a shift. Not only did he sleep more soundly, but his dreams also became more vivid and meaningful. Through meditation, John had learned to quiet his mind, making it easier for his subconscious to communicate with him through his dreams. 11. Overcoming the fear of remembering dreams: the courage to face the truth. One of the most significant barriers to remembering our dreams is not the inability to recall them, but the fear of what they might reveal. Many people subconsciously block their dream recall because they are not ready to confront the truths that their dreams might expose. Dreams often bring to light aspects of ourselves that we may be avoiding: unresolved trauma, buried desires, or parts of our personality that need to be integrated. In Buddhist teachings, The fear of facing uncomfortable truths is considered a part of the human condition. The ego, in particular, will resist these revelations because they may challenge our sense of identity or require significant changes in our lives. But as difficult as it may be, the act of facing our fears and embracing the messages within our dreams is a crucial step in spiritual and personal growth. The more we are willing to confront these fears, the more we empower ourselves to evolve and heal. Psychological depth. The fear of remembering dreams is often rooted in our reluctance to change. Change, no matter how beneficial, can feel threatening. Our subconscious mind may protect us from this change by suppressing dream recall. However, true growth lies in the courage to face what scares us, the discomfort, the unresolved emotions, and the unknown parts of ourselves. Real-life example: Clara had long avoided confronting her past, especially the trauma of losing her childhood home. She frequently had dreams about walking through an empty house, searching for something, but always waking up just before finding it. It wasn't until she decided to begin therapy and address the deep pain associated with her childhood that her dream recall became clearer. She started to recall more details of the house, the rooms she had once inhabited, and the people who had been part of her life. Facing the emotions tied to her past helped her understand the significance of the dream and allowed her to heal. Her dreams had been guiding her all along, but it took the courage to remember and confront the pain that came with it. 12. Reconnecting with the soul, the practice of dream recall. Ultimately, the process of remembering your dreams is not just about recovering lost memories. It's about reconnecting with your soul, your deeper self, and your spiritual purpose. Dreams are a form of dialogue between the conscious and subconscious, offering guidance, wisdom, and insights that can help us navigate our waking life. To remember your dreams is to embrace your soul's wisdom and align yourself with your true path. This process requires consistency, patience, and most importantly, the willingness to be vulnerable. Dreams, while often strange or uncomfortable, hold pieces of the puzzle of who we are and what we are meant to become. As you practice remembering and honoring your dreams, you open the door to greater self-awareness, spiritual growth, and personal transformation. Psychological depth. The process of reconnecting with the soul through dreams can be incredibly healing. It offers a chance to reconcile the parts of ourselves that we have hidden or forgotten. The more we reconnect with these parts, the more whole we become. Through dreams, we can integrate our shadow selves, heal emotional wounds, and align ourselves with our life's purpose. Real-life example: James had always struggled with feelings of disconnection, as if something important was missing in his life. He had been through several phases of personal growth, but something still felt incomplete. One night he had a dream where he was standing on a mountain, looking out over a vast landscape. In the dream, he heard a voice telling him that he had the power to create the life he wanted. When James woke up, he felt a deep sense of clarity, as if a veil had been lifted. This dream marked the beginning of a new phase in his life, where he began taking bold steps to create the life he had always wanted. Through his dreams, he had reconnected with his soul's deeper desires. As we've explored in this video, the act of forgetting our dreams is not simply a matter of poor memory. It's a signal that something within us is resisting the deeper wisdom our dreams are trying to impart. Whether it's emotional blocks, fear of change, or the ego's need to maintain control, these internal barriers keep us from fully engaging with the messages of our soul. But the good news is, you have the power to reconnect with your dreams. By practicing presence, setting clear intentions, and creating a space of emotional and spiritual hygiene, you can begin to unlock the wisdom hidden within your dreams. Remember, dreams are not just fleeting images or stories. They are sacred messages, guiding you towards greater self-awareness and personal transformation. Tonight, before you go to sleep, take a moment to place your hand on your heart and declare, "I am ready to remember. I am ready to hear my soul." By making this declaration, you signal to your subconscious that you are open to receiving the wisdom that lies within. If you found this video meaningful, I encourage you to share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever experienced a dream that changed your life? I would love to hear your story. Don't forget to subscribe to Transformative Thoughts for more insights into the invisible forces that shape our lives. Your journey matters, and we're here to walk it with you.